Hello and welcome to 9 Inch Charge. Today we are doing another of our shorter Old World episodes where we just focus on one single topic and try and keep the video length down to below 10 minutes, and the discussion carries on in the comments. So today, Tom, we are talking about 3D printing.
Oh,
So
what a topic.
without wanting to sound too clickbaity, will the old world be dead on arrival due to the rise of these 3D printed armies that you could buy that have filled in and replaced the armies that Games Workshop no longer produce that were Warhammer Fantasy Battle armies?
If you had asked me 3, 4 years ago, I would have said, nah, Games Workshop will smash them. Not even going to get close. I've seen quite a lot of the China cast, the 3D printed stuff out there, and it really wasn't anything spectacular. But I don't know what it is. In the last 6 months, maybe I've been digging a bit deeper. There's some really good stuff. Like Highland
Yeah,
Miniature Dwarf range is
yeah,
phenomenal, and
yeah.
there's so much stuff like that out there
But
now.
it's not just Highland as well. Is it Kingdom Miniatures? I think they're the ones that I bought my oh,
Tomb
what are they called?
Kings.
Yes, they're the ones I
Yes.
bought my Tomb King from, and they are awesome. I've got my where is he? I got him somewhere. He's up on the display cabinet. Let me go and find him. Let's take you on a journey, Tom. Here he is. Look, I can see
Oh,
him.
that's incredible.
So this is my Canopic Sorcerer that is 3D printed, and yeah, he's very cool. I mean, and there's stuff being done with this model in the resin sculpt that is just great. Like the way this sand swirls around and things like that. The detail of it is absolutely incredible. Um, and I would argue that he is better than any Leech Priest that Games Workshop have produced. Now, I think that's a bit of a bold statement. Um, but you and the other thing is if even if you don't have access to a 3D printer, you can get these. I think I paid someone either on eBay or Etsy to print this off. Now, I would suggest that if that's what you're going to do, that you ought to really just buy one model from them first and see what the printing quality is like, because it does vary.
Yeah.
And then see if you get an army. But I mean, it wasn't a lot, because although we do have a 3D printer, we do have access to a 3D printer through Dan. Um, Sometimes it takes a long time to print an army. We're all busy, so I just ordered them. But yeah, I mean, I was really impressed. Um, I've got to say, and yeah, and people will print them off relatively cheaply. You can buy a 3D printed army cheaper than you can buy an army from Games Workshop. And as you said now, the quality of the sculpts is fantastic. And there was a time when I thought, oh, it's not right. They're treading on someone else's IP. Games Workshop has spent the time creating these armies, and now someone's coming along and kind of ripping them off. However, if Games Workshop aren't going to produce these models, and I was thinking specifically about Warhawks, so I've been playing Warhammer Fantasy with you and Jeremy, and I've been playing with my Wood Elves. I want Warhawk riders in my army, and you cannot get them for love nor money. Well, you can get them for money, but I would like to keep all of my organs inside. I don't
Yeah.
really want to have to sell a lung or a kidney. Um, so I 3D printing is actually the best option now for me to be able to complete my Wood Elf army, which is a bit of a shame, because the idea was when I started it was that I wanted to create the army that I wanted as a boy.
Yeah.
So I was going to get some older models in there and paint them in the color scheme that I wanted, as I want a spring theme. But I just can't get all the models that I want. So this is a really viable alternative now, and I think it will make things difficult for Games Workshop, because not everybody plays in Games Workshop every week like we used to go to the games
Yeah.
night, and we still play at Warhammer World probably twice a year, but not everybody does that, especially overseas. Um, you know, some Games Workshops are few and far between, and if people are quite happy for you to play with proxy models and they are really good representations, I think that, especially if we were saying in the previous episode that it's going to be a lot of resin and that will be quite expensive, this does become Forge World resin. That is, this does become very much more viable, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, it's unless Games Workshop do something truly special, and like every model's a masterpiece. Like, I've seen some really good, just generic fantasy models that you can 3D print and you can order. You like, I was looking at some dwarfs the other day, and it was £40 for 40.
Mm.
That's nuts. And the print was a really good quality, and I was tempted to pull the trigger on them. But instead, I'm going to get some STLs, and I think I'm going to print some, or ask Dan to print some slowly for me, kind of slow grow my dwarf army again. And as we're playing in Games Workshop, we've got a games night going on Sundays, so it doesn't massively affect me too much because I'm sure we're all happy to play with our 3D printed armies if we have them, or if you know. And then when Games Workshop bring out the good crack, then we all know I'm going to buy it anyway.
Yeah,
Right?
I think that's the thing to say, isn't it? Is don't get us wrong. When this game comes out, we're going to put our money where our mouths are, and we're going to support it, and we're going to buy it because that's the way to tell Games Workshop that we appreciate what they're doing and we want the game to have legs. We need to go out and spend the money because if people don't, it won't. It will end.
Yeah, it
So
just dies straight away.
and when you said there that unless every model is fantastic or whatever, it's going to be. I mean, I've been looking at the latest Slaves to Darkness range, and some of the models there are just so good. It's unbelievable. So the Chaos Chosen Warriors that have come out, every single one of them 10 years ago would have been a hero choice for an army, for Chaos Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
They are fantastic. And if they do that, they'll have no worries because they are still the best miniature company in the world. They do produce the best miniatures in the world. So if they bring their A game, there'll be no worries whatsoever. But I do think for people who want to get into the game and play the game, I think it is a viable option. And I think you could, and also I think how I stumbled across them was I went onto Etsy and I just typed in Tomb Kings, or you could type in Wood Elves or what have you. And if you type in Tomb Kings Warhammer, these are the tag words that bring up all the other armies. So have a little look, and if you have any yourself, let us know in the comments. And if you enjoy these shorter format videos, please leave a like. If you'd like to see more, we're going to try and do one every single week. So please subscribe to the channel, and we will catch you next time.